Welcome to the SalonTouch video training system. In this video, we will be discussing the kiosk feature of SalonTouch. SalonTouch can be configured to run in kiosk mode. The purpose of this mode is to allow a salon to set up a computer where clients can check themselves into a room without the need of an employee. With the flexible settings of this feature, your salon can control what a customer can access and which services they may use. For this demo, we will show you the basics of setting up the kiosk mode so your clients can put themselves into a room. This is beneficial for 24-hour salons or busy salons where an employee may not always be present or available. The first step we want to complete is to create a new employee security profile. This profile will control much of the functionality of the kiosk. This profile will control the access a customer will have into the sections of SalonTouch. So let's begin creating that profile. We go into Setup and then Security. In this demo, we have already created a new security profile named Kiosk. We have given it a low security level number. Because this profile will be used by your customers, we want to give it less of a security level than your actual employees. We have also set the options for this profile so that it properly will allow clients into the sections of the program to which we want them to have access. While denying their access into sections we do not want them to enter. When creating the profile, remember that it will be used by the client when they log in, so you may want to give them different settings than you would a regular employee. For example, you may not want to give them the ability to override the wait time between TANs or a maximum discount setting. Generally, you will want to give this profile less access than you would your regular employees. So carefully go through each section and set them to true or false as needed. In this demo, we have blocked the profile from certain things like accessing the register when paying for a surcharge. But depending on how your salon wants the kiosk to function, you may want to give the profile permission into the register. In this demo, we are only allowing the basics of tanning. Their packages cannot charge any surcharges, and the client cannot purchase any additional products or services. However, you can set up your own kiosk profile to allow these actions and control them through other options we will discuss shortly. With the flexibility of the kiosk, the more access the profile is allowed, then the more the functionality of the kiosk can be increased. As you can see in this demo, we have really blocked most of the access for this profile. However, this is only part of controlling the functionality of the kiosk. Be sure to click Save to save the profile. Next, we will go into Management and create a new employee. This fake employee is used by the kiosk to enter the program and perform any actions within the program. In this demo, we have already created a new employee that we named Kiosk. The reason we create a new employee is because you don't want to assign the newly created profile to one of your regular employees. You want a kiosk employee so that when you run reports and track actions, you will be able to tell which actions were done by your real employees and which were done within the kiosk. You can easily change the kiosk's security profile if you discover the need to block or grant permissions based on the actions recorded. Here you can see we assigned the new employee the profile kiosk. The other information isn't really relevant in this demo because this kiosk employee doesn't really exist, so it doesn't matter whether we give them commission or set the other information. The important thing is their name. The name can be anything. It just needs to be recognizable as being used by the kiosk and not within the regular SalonTouch application. You will want to set up their password, and that password can be anything you want it to be. Be aware that this employee will appear in the employee login screens within SalonTouch, so be sure to keep this password secure as you would any employee's password. Click Save. So, at this point we have our new employee created and the security profile that they are going to use within the kiosk. So now let's go to Setup, then to Kiosk. Here we can see the many kiosk features. the features are broken down by the different sections of the kiosk program. At the top, we start with the features that are specific to the current computer. So on each computer that you want to run SalonTouch in kiosk mode, you will need to go into this screen on those computers and set the option to run in kiosk mode. With this option selected, the next time SalonTouch is started up on this computer, it will automatically start up in kiosk mode. When the kiosk mode is started, it will display a screen allowing entry by either customer or by management. When customer entry is selected, the program will automatically use the employee selected here. It will automatically use that employee's password for the secured areas and will grant them access according to their profile. It will do all this automatically for the client without them having to know anything about the employee profile being used. So in this demo, we will use the kiosk employee that we previously created. Below, you'll see the options that are going to be used by all the kiosks running in your salon. First, we can select to hide the different program section buttons located at the top of the SalonTouch screen. You'll notice that the Setup button is not one of the options that is available here for you to hide. The reason for that is because if the kiosk is logged into as a customer, then the Setup button is automatically hidden. If you are logging into the kiosk as management, then the Setup button will be visible. Customers never need access into your software setup. Management may need access into Setup to change the function of the kiosk program or to turn it off so they can run SalonTouch in its regular mode instead. The purpose of hiding these buttons is simply so that the SalonTouch kiosk looks less cluttered and confusing to your customers, because the customers are not familiar with running SalonTouch. And if your salon's purpose in using the kiosk is to only allow customers to tan themselves, then you don't need a screen that shows all these other buttons to confuse the customer. Remember to keep the kiosk screen simple so customers easily understand how to use the program. Under the Client Selection header, there is an option to verify the client using their fingerprint. This option requires the salon has the fingerprint feature activated in SalonTouch and the customer has a fingerprint on file. It is important to note that the client search screen is not the same one that's used inside the regular SalonTouch software. The client search screen in the kiosk requires that the client put in their email address and their password in order to search for them in the database. Under the tanning screen header, there are many options to control the actions of a client trying to put themselves into a room. For example, you can control which services may be used and which ones cannot. This is helpful if the service requires they pay a surcharge, but you are not allowing registered transactions within the kiosk. With this option selected, you will need to go to the setup screen for your tanning services and set the option to allow the service to be used or not in kiosk mode for each of your services. By keeping the package selections restricted for the client, it makes the process easier for the client to use the kiosk. There are also options to hide other buttons, such as the Sell a Service button and the Hide a Tan Without a Service button and the Put into Waitlist button. The visibility of the buttons will depend on how you want to control the kiosk's functionality. In our demo, we have set our kiosk security profile so that they would not have permission into these areas, but here we are making it even simpler for our customers by hiding these buttons. Otherwise, if our customers were to click these buttons, they would get an access denied message. Our goal is to keep it easier on our clients to use the kiosk, so we will not even show them the buttons they cannot use. Now we will look at the client info options. When a client has been selected, their client info box appears on the tanning screen. On that screen, you can select to hide the client profile button. This will prevent them from being able to go to their profile altogether. Should your salon allow customers to go to their profile, you can set options which block access to sections of their profile or hide selected information on the screens. Once you have set up or changed your kiosk settings, you will want to click Save. Remember, these settings will only go into effect the next time SalonTouch is restarted. Let's take a look into the TAN Services Setup screen. At this screen, you can see there is a new column that says Display in Kiosk. When you click the column header, you will be presented with an option window to uncheck all or check all. You can change the individual services setting on this screen, or you can go into the individual detailed setup screen for the service and set the option there. Be sure to click Save on the screen where you made your changes. Okay, so now let's exit SalonTouch and restart it. You will simply start SalonTouch as normal, however, you will now see this screen. This screen will indicate that SalonTouch is running in kiosk mode. You can select to enter as a customer or to enter as management. We will enter as a customer to experience the program as a customer would. As you can see, all of the settings to hide buttons are in effect. Now let's tan ourselves as a customer would. We would simply follow the directions provided on the screen. We start by clicking the Clients button. Next, at the search screen, we enter our email address and our password. Then click Find. You will notice that the information that is returned has been redacted for security. Clients will only see parts of their personal information in order to verify that the match is indeed them. The find results should only return one match, assuming your salon is not allowing clients to use the same email address and password on different client records. After clicking on the returned client entry, if the fingerprint features are being used in the kiosk, then the application will then ask the customer to scan their fingerprint for verification. If the fingerprint is verified, the screen will return to the tanning screen. If the fingerprint is not verified, then the client cannot continue. If the fingerprint feature is not used, simply selecting the returned client entry will result in the program returning to the tanning screen. The customer will receive any pop-up message that would have been set for their account. We advise that the normal pop-up window used in SalonTouch not be displayed in the kiosk because often it may contain info that you may not want the customer to see. SalonTouch has a client kiosk memo that you should use to display messages to a client instead. Once back to the tanning screen, the client will follow the directions and select the room they wish to use. At this point, the process is just like using the regular version of SalonTouch. The difference, based on your setup of the kiosk, is that the client may not have access to all of the services they own. But following the directions provided, the client will be able to set themselves into a room. Now the process is ready for the next client. Note that when the client completes the process of setting a room or cancels their interaction, the client list is left blank when the next client uses the kiosk. This prevents clients from accessing the previous client's profile and services. The kiosk feature is a tool that can be used in your salon to help increase customer service. It can be used in more ways than just tanning a client. It can be used in ways to allow clients to update their personal information and to view their own sales and service history. It is a tool that can better service your salon and your customers. I hope you found this video useful, and if you have any further questions about this feature, please contact us.